Hey everyone, Tryptamine Astrology readings here. I'd like to explain why I love astrology. I love astrology because it's accurate. I love astrology because it feels like I'm connecting to some kind of pure form of nature. When I actually go outside and look at the planets and the moon and the stars, I look at the planets in the sky, on the belt of the ecliptic, the belt of all planets. I can recognize when maybe Jupiter is at a sextile to Venus in the sky. I can see it, I can feel it. I can go outside and meditate and stare at the planets. I can feel it. I love it. To me, it's a whole kind of sacred, nature-grounded thing, in addition to all of the astrology. You could say that I have a naturistic, nature-loving, astronomical connection to it or something like that. I love it, you know. I go outside and I actually stare at the moon. Go outside and I stare at Jupiter almost every night. But for astrology, it's simply too accurate to not be real. That's how I feel about it. It defies the potential of astrology being placebo effect because it's just so accurate. The way that I got into it was I discovered the characteristics of the sign Aquarius. I'm Aquarius sun. I was born on a full moon, my moon Leo, and the definition of sun in Aquarius was so accurate that I got into astrology. I was like, well, this is a very specific thing, you know, like, it couldn't be placebo effect because not everybody bears this characteristic. Not everybody is an oddball, scientist, thinker, revolutionary, detached, thinker, learning type person. You know, it doesn't apply to everyone else. It doesn't. Not everybody has these Aquarius characteristics. I have Sun aligned with Mars, Sun conjunct Mars in Aquarius. It's a very distinct thing. I have a very, every single facet of my astrology chart matches my personality down to the T. I started studying the alleged definitions of the angles between planets in my chart and the placement of my planets in the signs, the placement of the planets in the sky when I was born in the different areas of sky, So, also, there were these types of synchronicities that happened that are just bizarre as hell that I find to be just divine. I find it to be really divine, So, get this. I'm going to explain on the screen. I love astrology, but there comes a point where you can go too far with it. You can go too far with astrology and start, well, it gets confusing. You can start using it as a kind of crutch to explain. It's a real paradox because I think that it really does do what we think it does. But if you realize that it's this way, maybe it will make it even worse. Maybe it's not even best to see things through a lens of astrology sometimes. Sometimes you really just need to take a break from mysticism and see things through a different lens. Sometimes you have to see your personality traits, as things that you can change and better and refine and balance. And if you use astrology as an excuse to not grow as a person, or to not balance yourself or become at peace with all these different aspects of your personality, then astrology wouldn't be doing you much of a service now, wouldn't it? Would it? So, I think that people need to balance and make sure that they're careful with something as intense as astrology. I mean, it's no joke. It's deciding to see consciousness through the lens of the planets. I mean, I fully believe in it, but it's serious. I fully believe in it, but I don't pay much attention to my negative transits until I have to. I don't look forward to my negative transits that much. I look at them and I think, well, I wait to see what happens, to see if it really is accurate. And every time it is. For instance, well, I got a dose of depression the other day, and I don't know where it came from. I just started feeling spontaneously depressed. And then I checked my transits, and I have some transits of depression going on. I've got, I had Saturn semi-square my Neptune exact at that day that I felt extra depressed. That's never happened in my life. It's a transit that's never happened in my life, and it was exactly peaking. I wondered why I felt depressed, so I checked my transits. But I did it in that order. So you could choose to anticipate bad transits if you want, and I do. But is it going to do you good? Or is it going to not do you good? It all depends on that. It's complicated. It depends on... It's insanely accurate. Even if it's so accurate that it could drive you crazy. It could drive you OCD in some type of way to analyze everything like an astrology aspect. You gotta balance. You just have to balance, I see every aspect of my personality through the lens of an astrology aspect. From Sun conjunct Mars, to Mercury conjunct Neptune, to Saturn in Pisces, to Moon in Leo, Sun in Aquarius. I see my whole personality through the lens of astrology aspects. But I still see my personality as something that I can better and refine and change over time to become a better person, to become a more balanced, grounded, humble, knowing, good person. So you must realize that that's the nature of this type of mystic thing. So easily can someone lose themselves in a mystic theory, in a religious dogma, in a whatever it is, that, we just have to be careful. But I absolutely believe in it, I think it's 120 million% real. And I just think it's crazy. I mean, I still don't know why it's real. It seems to be the most real mystic thing I've ever known. So I don't know, you gotta balance with it, but I think it's real. So make what you will of it, but always remember to take a step back and balance and ask yourself if astrology really is benefiting you to learn about. Much love. Peace. I think astrology is helpful because it can explain your inherent characteristics very accurately. It can explain why you just happen to be this way naturally. Now, throughout life, a person betters themselves and refines their personality and grows and learns things and changes. So I don't think that you should look at it like a fixed, permanent, this is the way I am, and there's no changing it. I think that your soul kind of starts out at this default state, and you are this snapshot of the energy that was going through the earth, happening in the sky at your time of birth. You're a snapshot of the solar system, that's your soul, like a snapshot placed into your body. I truly do believe that, but you just have to balance and realize that we're all growing as people, and you have to take everything with a grain of salt and use astrology wisely. And, be careful with it.